Hello, my name is Anne, and this is what the Lord has done for me. I think, like many young Adventists, we grow up in the church, not finding our footing in the church and our belonging. And so, for me, when I turned 18, I left the church when I went to college. And for me, that was just the family that I thought was family versus what I grew up in. At college, I went to a secular college, and they taught a lot about gender ideology and that you can be any gender that you want. I was in a gender neutral housing, so it was normal to just be in like the same circle with people of the opposite sex, like even sleeping in the same room and things of that nature. And since my interests kind of lied outside of what was socially acceptable, like as a woman, I thought that I needed to identify as something outside of being a woman. So that was like my journey for 2 years of college. And then 2020 happened during COVID, and I was left coming back home, being alone with my thoughts. I was left alone with being back home with my family. So my siblings didn't go to college, and I think part of that was a blessing in disguise because they weren't really being indoctrinated in the same way that I was. So some of the arguments that I would have with them, especially when it came to like identity politics, they kind of pushed back like, are you sure you can just believe like every woman when they're going through like sexual assault, or like can you believe every person when they've gone through like another form of discrimination? And at first, like I was very like pushing back on it, but they kind of made me remember that the truth is what's important rather than like how I feel. And so that was like the start of me questioning like what I believed, especially what I was taught at school, especially with like I think it's like Marxism and like some other ideologies that kind of promote that your identity is not tied to God. So at some point, I just started listening to like the other perspective of like ideas that I wasn't too sure about. And I ended up finding a video of someone detransitioning from being transgender and found their way to Christ. And I think at that moment I realized that I needed Jesus in my life again. During this time I was depressed, and I didn't know why I was depressed, and I was going through anxiety. And 4 years ago, that was like the start of me realizing like I need to get rebaptized. And so that's what the Lord has done for me. That's been kind of my journey so far, and that started 4 years ago. And I've grown a lot since then, realizing like my identity is in Christ and not in my gender or in my skin color, or even like I'm a woman because God made man and woman. But even then, it's like to focus on my identity being in Christ has been like very life-changing for me. And I feel a lot more at peace and more grounded in who I am. And so I find that that's what the Lord has done for me.